Hey, what's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel, and before we get into today's video, I wanted to make an announcement. If you saw on my Instagram as I posted, we are going to be turning this channel to focus more on basketball. It's a topic that I'm just more passionate about, and I will have more fun making content for 2K22. Commentary videos for basketball will be the thing of the future. I hope you guys enjoy this. Give me any feedback you'd like. Don't forget to hit the like button, and let's hop right into the video. Alrighty, so everybody knows ESPN does power rankings for the NBA every year. A lot of the major corporations do this, and we're going to go over the ESPN power rankings, and I'm just going to give you guys my opinions on all of them. And first off, we can already see the Brooklyn Nets, number one on the list, added Patty Mills, James Johnson, re-signed Blake Griffin, Kevin Durant re-signs, James Harden's going to be healthy, Kyrie Irving's going to be healthy. Very obvious that they're the number one power ranking team in the NBA. They're very likely to win the championship this year. Hopefully it doesn't happen because I'm not a big fan of super teams, but it's not very hard to argue with them being number one. Number two is my Milwaukee Bucks. After coming off of the finals, number two is very respectable. PJ Tucker did leave, which is going to be a big hit. George Hill came back after being gone for 1 year. Grayson Allen was traded for. Like it says here, the Nets may be favorites, but I do have faith in us to come through and repeat in the championship. I think it's a big possibility. I think people are counting us out a little too much. Giannis is a double MVP, by the way, so don't forget about that. At number three, the Los Angeles Lakers. Don't agree with this one that much. Russell Westbrook, Dwight Howard, and Carmelo Anthony all in the offseason. All of them are past their prime except for arguably Russell Westbrook, who he's still past his prime. He's just not as far as the other guys. I don't think this team is going to be a super team. I think they'll be a great team, but I don't think they have what it takes to make the finals. Or if they do, I don't think they'll have what it takes to win the finals. So yeah, that's the number three spot. At number four, we got the Phoenix Suns. Not feeling this one either. Like I said, they should be in front of the Lakers, though. 51-21 this season. Made the finals. Played great in the first two games. As a Bucks fan, I really thought they were going to sweep us. We came back and won in 6 games. So, they did trade for Landry Shamet and brought in JaVale McGee. Two semi-decent acquisitions, so I feel like they should be number three above the Lakers. I can see them making it back to the finals before the Lakers make it because Devin Booker was just unstoppable in the playoffs. At number five, we got the Utah Jazz, 52-20, and the Jazz always seem to be on the cusp of making the finals. They're always one of the top teams in the West, but they just never get it done in the playoffs. They brought back Rudy Gay. They brought in Rudy Gay, brought back Derek Favors and Georges Niang. Center Hassan Whiteside's on the team now. Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, obviously. Jazz kind of stayed the same. I expect them to be pretty decent this year, probably about as good as last year. So this is a good ranking for them. Now at number 6, it really depends on what happens with Ben Simmons. Do they trade him for picks and young players, or do they trade him for an aspiring star, or do they keep him? This is the biggest news circling the 76ers so far this year. It's not going to be probably until the trade deadline, in my opinion, or early in the season. I don't think Ben Simmons is gone before the season. It should be interesting to see how it works out, but I do think the drama is going to get to him a little bit, and I don't expect them to be as good as they are starting out the season. So I think 6 is a little high for the 76ers, but it's still a pretty good ranking overall. Coming in at number 7 is the Denver Nuggets. Don't really have much to say about them. They brought in Jeff Green. Jamal Murray is going to be coming back. Nothing much. Nikola Jokic coming off of an MVP season. They should be decent this year. Coming in at number 8 is the first one that I definitely don't agree with. The Miami Heat. Kyle Lowry, PJ Tucker, and Markieff Morris all signed to this team in the offseason. But I just don't see them making a run in the playoffs. Jimmy Butler, after that playoff series against my Bucks, he didn't really look like he had it left in the tank. You could blame it on the short off season, but Kyle Lowry is not going to win you a championship. PJ Tucker was great for our run. I'm going to miss him, but he's just not going to win you a championship, and neither is Markieff Morris. So I think the Heat should be much lower than this. They should definitely be below the number 9 team in the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks were 41-31, and nobody expected them to make it to the conference finals, but they did just that. Bringing in DeLon Wright is a good pickup. He's a solid backup guard, something they needed because Chris Dunn was not cutting it in the playoffs. John Collins, locking him up for 5 years is crucial to their future. Number 9 is respectable for the Hawks. Number 10, we have the LA Clippers, respectable here. Reggie Jackson balled out for them. Nicholas Batum played. He basically revitalized his career. They brought in Eric Bledsoe, which I believe was an upgrade over Beverly and Rondo, so that's a big pickup for them. But overall, Kawhi Leonard coming off of an injury, I think 10's respectable because I don't see them making a finals run. They should have a good season, though. At number 11, we have the Dallas Mavericks. And pretty much as long as the Mavericks have a good player like Luka Doncic, they're going to be in the top 15. Can't really blame them. Jason Kidd, not a big fan of him as a coach. Don't think he's going to do anything in Dallas because he didn't do anything in Milwaukee. They brought in Reggie Bullock, but other than that, the Mavericks didn't make too many improvements, and I think they have a good regular season, bad postseason, and maybe Luka Doncic starts to pressure them a little more. 11 is a little too high for the Mavericks. Number 12 is a team that a lot of people are sleeping on, and a team that I'm probably going to talk about individually, the Golden State Warriors. Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody, or as they call him, Modi Moses, along with James Wiseman and Jordan Poole, is going to make an amazing young core for the future. And they already have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. The Warriors added back Iggy, Otto Porter, and Bjelica. They have an all-around great team. And if Klay Thompson can come back healthy and play like he used to play, I see the Warriors making a finals run. They barely missed the playoffs last year in a very exciting game. Steph Curry carried them. Draymond needs to get back to his old self. But 12 is a little too low, in my opinion, for the Warriors. 13 for the Celtics. Don't agree with this one too much. Dennis Schroeder and Josh Richardson coming in. Evan Fournier coming in. Al Horford coming in. Or coming back, I guess you could call it. They have a new coach. They have a new manager. The Celtics probably going to be a little lower than this. I don't think they'll be great this year. They'll be a playoff team, but they're not making any runs in the playoffs. And the New York Knicks brought in Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier in free agency. Brought back Alec Burks, Nerlens Noel, Derrick Rose. Didn't have a great draft. Last year was their first time making the playoffs in a while. And I think they drop off a little bit. I think 14's fair for them, but I don't think they make any big noise in the playoffs like they did this year. I think they surprise people, but they get knocked out in the first round. At number 15 is the Portland Trailblazers. Similar to the 76ers, this really just depends on the Damian Lillard situation. He recently came out and announced he was leaning towards staying in Portland for this foreseeable future, which is a good sign for them. So yeah, the Trailblazers at 15 is a fair ranking for them. And the Grizzlies at 16 surprises me. I say swap 16 and 17. I think the Hornets have a much brighter future. LaMelo Ball could be an amazing player. James Bouknight, Kai Jones are going to be amazing young players. Re-signing Terry Rozier for the Hornets, that was huge. But let's get back to the Grizzlies. Ja Morant, amazing. Jaren Jackson Jr., amazing. Dylan Brooks, amazing. Bringing in Steven Adams is questionable. Jarrett Culver, He could revitalize his career. Maybe he needed a change of scenery. That should be an interesting thing to watch. But like I said, swap 16 and 17, and I agree with those rankings right there. At 18, we have the Indiana Pacers. Rick Carlisle coming to Indiana will be huge for them. I've always been a big Malcolm Brogdon fan. Losing Aaron Holiday will be big. Did sign Torrey Craig to a 2-year deal. They didn't really do much other than that. I don't think they'll be good. I think 18 is fair for them, but I don't think 19 is fair for the Bulls. A lot of people seem to be underrating DeMar DeRozan, and because he did struggle a little bit in his years with the Spurs, they don't remember what he used to be like. DeRozan is a top player in the NBA, and people need to learn to respect that. Alex Caruso also was a big pickup. Zach LaVine is obviously their star player. Nikola Vucevic alongside him. I don't think people understand how good of a team they're going to have. I see them making the second round of the playoffs this year, and I think 19 is just absolutely disrespectful for the Bulls, so they need to definitely be moved up. 20, the Toronto Raptors sign and trade Kyle Lowry, did keep Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, and OG Anunoby. I think they're an Eastern Conference contender for the playoffs. I see them 10th or 9th or 8th seed around there fighting for those last few playoff spots. Scotty Barnes, interesting. As it says here, picking him over Jalen Suggs, but it's interesting, but we'll have to see what happens in the future. I think 20 is a fair rating for them. They're decent, but not great. We'll just have to see how they do. 21 is the Wizards. Traded away Westbrook, got Harold, Kuzma, Pope, brought in Spencer Dinwiddie and Aaron Holiday. Kept Bradley Beal. Not going to be good this year. The Wizards I don't see them making the playoffs. 34 and 38 last year. Barely made it into the playoffs anyways. And I just do not see them improving this year, obviously. So 21, in my opinion, is a little high. Especially going down to the Pelicans, who I felt like made a good offseason. Replacing Alonzo Ball with Devontae Graham is odd, but he could play like he used to play in Charlotte a couple years ago. Valanciunas puts the spacing on the center position that they need around Zion Williamson. And if Zion Williamson can stay healthy, I think they can be really good this year. Playoff contender for sure. Don't think they're making any special runs, but I could be wrong. 22 safe for the Pelicans. 23 for the Spurs. Sure, not much to say about the Spurs. They're just kind of meh. Didn't make good signings this offseason. Thad Young doesn't make sense. Al-Farouq Aminu doesn't make sense. Zach Collins doesn't make sense. Doug McDermott doesn't make sense. Spurs just, sure, 23. Sacramento Kings at 24, I disagree. I think the Sacramento Kings should be 30 just for how awful they run this organization. But as a team, 24 is fine. Davion Mitchell, or as they call him, Off Night, looks like a steal of the draft. Tyrese Halliburton, De'Aaron Fox. The big problem with the Kings is you have two players who don't want to be there at all, Buddy Hield and Marvin Bagley. There will be a video about them sometime soon, hopefully. That's an interesting situation, and sure, 24, let's just move on. At 25, we got the Minnesota Timberwolves with D'Lo, Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns. They just haven't performed like they should. I love Cat as a person, but he just hasn't been what he should be. If he's such a great NBA player, I feel like the Timberwolves would have made the playoffs more than just one season since he's been there. Anthony Edwards did look good. 25 is fair for them. 26 for the Pistons. Sure, Cade Cunningham's going to be a huge part of that team, obviously. Jeremy Grant had a huge season last year. He really showed that he might be able to lead a team. Killian Hayes, meh. He kind of started out slow. Played good in the last little bit of the season, but I don't see him becoming too great. Sadiq Bey, though, he will be a top player in the NBA sometime soon, in my opinion. So these last few rankings are pretty fair. They're all pretty bad. The Cavs, though, I feel should be higher than this. Adding Evan Mobley to play beside Jarrett Allen is huge for them. Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, Isaac Okoro, they have an amazing young core. I think they're going to be great this year for Cleveland standards, and I think 27 is a little underrating them. The Orlando Magic, Jalen Suggs, sure, not much to say about them. Jonathan Isaac returning from the injury will be big for them. They're going to be bad, so 28 is fair. Houston Rockets, 29th. Jalen Green's going to be interesting to watch. He'll probably be very entertaining. But I can't really say much. They're going to be bad, much like the Magic. And number 30, interesting, the Oklahoma City Thunder. That was interesting because I expected them to be a little higher with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who I believe is going to be a top guard in this league soon. Yeah, they're a very young team. They have a lot of picks. They're obviously not going to be good. I think they're a little better than a few of these teams that are below. But overall, I think 30 is a fair ranking. And as a whole, ESPN did decent in here. A few teams I'd swap around. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. What do you think ESPN got right? What do you think I got right? I'm down to listen to anything you guys think about this. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoy my new content I'll be making. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and adios.